Hi everyone. In today's workshop, what we shall be covering is the effect of alignment in a poster, as in how are the different elements or objects in a poster aligned and how the impact of aligning a poster, whether it's towards the center, whether it's towards the right or towards the left. Similarly, the effect of alignment on titles, where whenever you are using to express a title, you could use alignment of the specific title or the text, or whatever object it is, to amplify the message. And the third way you could amplify a message in a poster is actually through scale. How do you scale a specific element to uh, create more emphasis on that specific element? Now, in this exercise, you can see over here, you have the word autumn that's there at the bottom, and you have an image of the leaf. Now, in order to make sure that this is something that looks good, what they do, the exercise asks you to do over here is to align this leaf in the center of the poster along with the word at the bottom. So that is one trick where you can do it. Another way is also whenever you have certain content in your poster, try and ensure that the spacing at the side, at the spacing at the front, and you know even at the top is always uniform. So over here, what they ask you to do is to increase the spacing to a point that the distance between this object, this first word holiday, and the second word escape is equal. So the way in which you do this is you can go over here to your three dots and you have this option called spacing over here. When you click on it, you have this concept known as line height. And you can either increase or decrease the distance between the words in Canva using this option of line height. So what I will do is I will very approximately choose yes. So now the distance between that sun element along with holiday and escape is kind of equal. So it's a very important principle whenever you're creating your posters. And it's not just restrictive to text itself. Even when you make objects, always ensure that the gap on the right hand side and the gap on the left hand side are equal. If you have like a image and you have the border of the image over here, this gap needs to be equal. Similarly, the gap on the top and the gap at the bottom from the edge of the poster needs to be equal. The third aspect is when you align specific objects, if you can try and ensure that they are either centered or to the left or to the right. This exercise asks us to align it towards the center. And that is what I'm going to do here. You can see I'm guided by these pink dotted lines. Similarly over here, if you want, now in a specific text box, if you want your alignment of the text to move either to the right, to the center, or to the left, you can use this option over here called alignment. So if I want this somewhere, you can see the border of this text box is over here. So if I want it aligned towards the right, what I can do is I can click it once and then click it twice. So you can see it shuffled between center alignment and right alignment. In this situation, you can see this text box and this text box. I can align it both together so that their ends end at the same edge. So that is one principle to keep in mind. Again, over here, alignment of the grid. Now these are three different elements. One of it is the title, the second is the explanation of the title, and the third is the poster. Now, if you want a poster like this to look good, what they ask you is to align it in the form of a grid. For example, when I do it over here, even though they're three separate elements, it comes across as if they are a part of a box. So try, whenever you're aligning certain elements in your poster, try and fit them to basic shapes. Sometimes you can also make, for example, a triangle, and you can have the rainy season is starting to happen. So it comes across in this sort of alignment that looks almost like a pyramid. So try, whenever you're creating, use a specific shape in your mind, and if you want to make a poster interesting, try and define that shape through the elements that are placed inside that specific shape. Okay, now the second lesson that we have today is when you have titles. Now, where does this application of alignment, apart from objects, whether it's pictures, animations and stuff in your poster, a very important place to understand the importance of things like this is in your titles. Now, there are three ways in which you can keep your title in a poster. And remember, the title oftentimes is the most important element of the poster. It is something that grabs the attention of the individual that is viewing it. So there are three ways you can align it. One of it is you can align it in called a center align, where it is equidistant from either side. So over here I have center aligned it, and you can see when I move it around, I get these pink dotted lines to help me align it to the center. If you see over here, the long dotted line goes till the edge of the poster, and that says that it is towards the center of the entire poster. Whereas when I move towards this side, the dotted line does not go to the bottom. It goes only upwards, and it touches this move the word sundown to be center aligned, right? So in this situation, it is aligned to this text box that is there on the top, move the word sundown. So you've got to understand when the dotted lines come, if you wanted to align to the entire poster, they have to move from the top to the bottom of your poster. Similarly, if I move a little bit over here, you can see it goes only till the end of that Sorrento, that text box. That means currently this sundown or the sundown text is aligned to the center of that Sorrento text box. So I want it to the center of the poster, so I keep it to the center of the poster. Now, you can also, like I said, move it to the left. In this situation, what I can do is I can move it to the left. And similarly, you can also move it to the right. So always try and keep, whenever your posters are created, especially for the titles, either choose whether it is in the center or in the left or in the right. And oftentimes you can have all the other elements that actually follow that same alignment. And I will give you, I'll show you a couple of demonstrations towards the end of this session. Now, another way in which you can, stress, or you can choose to amplify the message of your title is by altering the spacing between the letters. And this again you can do in this place called spacing. You have this three dotted option and go to spacing. Wherever we found the line height, right, you can also have letter spacing. So if I increase it, you will see that the distance, let me go down so you can see it in action. You will see that the distance between the letters changes. Now you can see palm tree paradise. Paradise is a very relaxed place. And in order to give that essence or that feel of relaxation, what you can do is you can relax how crowded these letters look like. And you can have it this way. Or even if you want, you could change the word paradise and make it align with the same width as that of the palm tree. So let me try and do that. Yes. Okay. So over here, what I have done is I've aligned the word, I've created the word paradise to stretch to the same length as that of the top word palm tree. So paradise is a very calm place. So I used the spacing tool to space out the word and make it feel very comfortable. This is a very similar exercise like the previous one. Over here, they ask you to scale the word summer to match the word vacation. Again, it looks much more neater when these two words are summer aligned, and also when they match the same width as that of the other. Even though the lower one, vacation, is much closer to each other and the word summer is much more spaced out, they still almost fit like into a rectangular shape. And last but not the least is the effect of scale. Now, when you have certain text or an object, in order to amplify its meaning, when you're putting the message across on your poster, you can scale that specific object. Very simply over here, they say change the scaling. So it shows that almost there is like this kind of hierarchy, whereas the one on the left is more powerful or more stronger in its visual message than the second one, then the third one towards the right. Over here, this is also another very simple exercise where you can shift and you can turn these objects and these elements. Then over here, in order to specify that the word, the meaning, so you can see over here on the left hand side, they have the globe and they have the location icon that is there. And the location icon is quite big in comparison to that of the globe, and that is to define or to show that it is at that specific point. So they've used visual language, or they've used the scale of that object to define that we are talking about location. Similarly, over here, right now, the book and the pen are actually proportional to each other, in the sense that a pen is generally that big in comparison to that of a book. If I increase the size of this pencil, what happens is I by default increase the stress, or I'm stressing that the pencil is more important, or the action of writing. So that is what they are trying to convey through this exercise, that through scale, you can concentrate the viewer's idea, or what the viewer is trying to get out of that message. Over here, it is about writing rather than about the book itself. Similarly, over here, in order to make it interesting and exciting, what you can do is you can, for example, excitement is a fun thing, it's a big thing, and laugh. And excitement always happens first. So over here, they say if you scale this to 88, it goes almost towards the edge of your poster. And you see how interesting that effect has on the poster. So you can use scale in different ways to define what the message is. Similarly, over here, scale enforces a message. So they say minimize the words over here to define, because it's just a whisper, right? So whisper is very soft, and because it is soft, I'm trying to give the words the same character or the same emotion as that of what the actual object or the actual action is about. So then, because whisper is soft, I make the word small. So you have to try and infuse that emotion into, especially when you have titles, when you have themes for your Toastmaster meeting posters. Say, for example, it's fun and frolic. You could use fun in a capital font, and you can write frolic in a display font. Similarly, if you had monsoons is something that is, in India, it's very powerful. So you could make the word monsoon a very big word, and use different scale and alignment and the various other tools that we have explored in the last two workshops to help define your poster, to create it, to make it much more effective in its message that you want to get across. I just wanted to show you a couple of examples. Over here, they have used alignment. This poster has all of it that's central aligned. Culture, what this poster is stressing on is culture, and then streetwear, right? So they've used scale, they've central aligned the title, and then they use streetwear. And you can see streetwear is equidistant from the edges of the words culture. Now, I could have gone in this situation like this, and I could have increased the letter spacing to a point that it almost comes to the edge of the word culture. But what happens in this situation is I'm giving almost equal prominence in terms of spacing. I'm giving equal importance to the word culture and to the word streetwear. And this poster wants to convey that culture, or the name of the brand, I would assume that it is over here, is more important than the word streetwear. Okay. Similarly, over here, all the objects are center aligned. You have the word needing. I've told you about hierarchy. I'll never grow out. Needing is over here. They change the color of it to emphasize it. It develops or defines a hierarchy. And in a way, whatever I've explained to you today about alignment, about scale, it helps contribute or it helps strengthen the hierarchy in a specific image. Okay, so over here they have used I'll never grow, needing you, all of it is center aligned. You can see in this poster over here, they have aligned all of it to the left. Now you have the images at the top, but all the text in the poster is aligned to the left. Similarly, over here, the entire text box, you see how they've used symmetry. They have the image on the left hand side and all the text on the right hand side. And what they've also done is whatever text is on the right hand side, they have center aligned it. Okay, oftentimes you have to think of these concepts as a balance. Think of it as a seesaw. You know, it's a virtual seesaw that you're trying to balance what is there on the left side of the poster and that on the right side of the poster. And when the balance is right, it feels right because it is, you know, it's a poster is properly balanced. So over here also they have an object, an image object on the left, and they have entire text on the right. Now this is center aligned. If I wanted, I could also create an entire left side alignment over here. So you will see over here, I'm shifting all of it to the left, and over here also to the left. So you could do it either ways, but try and ensure, don't try and do something like this. This is something that doesn't look interesting. When you have one element that is aligned to the left and the other elements aligned to the right, always try and ensure that whatever alignment you choose, you are following that alignment. Over here also you have the images. You can see this image, this text, and this bar, this line, this element over here. Similarly, this image, this text, and this bar, they're all aligned at a specific line. And then you have the text that starts. Over here also you can see this text box and this text box, they're all, even though they're on the right hand side, they are all aligned to a specific line. So try and ensure that whenever you are creating your elements, keep in mind these concepts of alignment, the concepts that we spoke of prior in terms of type of fonts, in terms of hierarchy, and also how you can stress on the specific words or elements in your theme or your titles, and then the effect of scale, how you can use scale to enforce that hierarchy or enforce that message in your poster. Thank you.